Hello again, Tiffany English here, founder of Velvet Style and your professional event resource, here to talk all things in person events. And I wanted to come on really quickly and talk about event budgets. Um, that's such a hot topic because anytime that you do an event or work with someone, they're going to ask, what's the budget? I just had a conversation with another event professional who does site selections and hotel bookings for events. And, we talked about the importance of booking a professional to help you with your events. But in order to do that, you're going to need to know what your event budget is. And a lot of times people don't know, or people want to be told what kind of budget they should expect. And even me in my situation, when I plan my own events, it's something that's tricky for me because personally, if I am hosting an event, I want to spend as little as possible that's coming out of my own pocket. So what I would usually do is work backwards and kind of do some math. But what I wanted to do is I'm going to give you some insight or some food for thought about one, how to figure out your event budget, and two, just some general expectations, just based on what I've done in the past. So, one thing you can do to figure out kind of what the trends are on budgets is to do your research when you are looking for a venue. Now, in order to do that, you first have to decide what type of event is this. Is this is this a networking event, a happy hour, reception, social? Is this a dinner event? If you are doing conferences or meetings, that's more of an advanced event. So you should already kind of have that planned out as far as your budgets. But if you're starting out, I highly recommend doing something as simple as a happy hour reception or even a dinner meeting. Now, typically, event budgets can range. What I like to do is set what I expect per person, and then think about how many people you want to have at this event. Now, if it's something like a happy hour, are you thinking small, intimate, something maybe up to 20 people? Or if you're looking for larger, like a large event of 300 people, that's going to influence what your budget costs are. And if you had a per person price, you can easily do the math. Dinner obviously would be a little bit pricier. And if you have an overall budget of what you want to stay under, thinking about really kind of minimizing the guest count. Okay, so put all that into and get clear on the type of event, how many people, the type of flow. And once you have that, then you can start looking into what you want to spend, or what you're comfortable spending, and then breaking it down per person costs. Now, just to share a couple of options is one, like I said, doing some research. So calling venues and giving them the details and having them send you a quote. And then do that for, a few that are in that area so you can get a little bit of some data between a few venues and seeing what the typical costs are. So that's one option. Another option would be to just to actually look into kind of gauging what the typical pricing is, and that involves hiring someone or working with someone like me to really give you some real rounded numbers. One thing I would recommend is to sign up for my event resource hub. I'll have it linked here in the notes, and you get access to me to ask questions. one of the things to keep in mind is when you are working with people that are in the industry, it's our job to gauge the trends and what things are supposed to cost. And when there's a venue that has, the costs that are outside of that, and it's for us to know. So basically giving you feedback if this is the right pricing. What I will say is to not get caught up on a particular venue. It's kind of like buying a house. Don't get overwhelmed of the perfect venue because there's so many out there in whatever city it is. And if the pricing doesn't match your budget, then you just need to move on to another venue. So with that being said, I would highly recommend to do some research, see what you are comfortable spending, depending on the events, and then having that number in your head. It's a lot easier to have a budget in mind when you go into looking into venues, so that you know. So just from my experience and expertise, if you had a limited, smaller budget, doing a happy hour, doing a reception, having some light bites, and maybe, hosting some drinks. You can always do 1 or 2 drinks. You can do drink coupons. You can host the bar. Or you can even do a cash bar if you are limited on funds. So there's always different ways to doing that. So that budget is going to be primarily smaller. We're looking, anything under, between $25 and $50 a person. So then, doing the math and multiplying about how many people you want to invite to that event. Now, when you're thinking about a dinner event, I've seen budgets of an all-in budget. I'm comfortable quoting. Mind you, this is a Chicago market that I'm primarily in, but any metropolitan city as well. I can safely say that you're looking at, for a dinner event, all in with, taxes and fees, about $100 per person, giving a nice entree and maybe, some bottles of wine. If you are looking to do a elevated dinner with an open bar, we're looking at about $150 per person. So that's just a general rule of thumb. And a lot of dinner events are, smaller. So, thinking about what your budget can handle for that as well. It all depends. It all depends on the event. I highly say, if you want to discuss this, book a call with me. We can really hash it out and really get some customization on what you're looking for before you go and find that venue. And I can give you some really good event insight on what you're trying to do and how you can maximize that budget. So I'm going to leave you with that. And then I think, my next talks will talk deeper into event budgets and get really in the roots of different types of events and different types of budgets. But I just wanted to do a quick overview and some food for thought when you are planning your event and you are looking to make sure you have budget for that event. So until the next conversation, I talk to you later.